Hamilton tops. Oh God.
Oh yeah, we're just about to watch Hamilton. That's why you're not just.
I got my ticket.
Disclaimer.
What's the disclaimer? We're in this room because 2 households are now allowed inside. We are socially distanced, even though shielded people aren't specifically allowed. That is just a guidance and is an option. And because we have common sense. I've not just been to hospital this morning, but that's irrelevant. Story of my life. So yeah, this video we're just going to have a chat and talk about my diagnosis so far, some of the treatment I've had and the side effects that it's given me, and just a bit of a general chat about, oh God, cliche, my life with a ribbon. Basically, after my results call for my operation, I got sent this letter, and it's got my diagnosis from the first time, my first head and neck, and my second head and neck. But what's interesting, it's got all my treatments written on it and the dosages of everything. So like the first one, pelvic, I can't even say the word. I can hear them saying it, but I can't say it. Basically, I had rhabdomyosarcoma in my bladder. So I had 3 operations for that, and then chemo, which there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different types of chemo the first time.
I think that's the most interesting bit.
Mhm.
There's different types of chemo.
Yeah, because like when you say you're getting treated, you just think, oh, you're getting treated with chemo, you're getting radio. Yeah. But actually, there's different types of chemo. But there's different types of fluid. There's also chemo pills. Depending on how they want to treat the tumour or cancer, that is how they pick what chemo they want to give. Because some are different strengths.
Because you would think, if someone said chemo, you just think chemotherapy. You don't think, you just see it as one thing. I would have never thought that there was like loads of different types of chemotherapy.
The second load of chemo I had another 3 types in that round, and vincristine was one of them. The vincristine is a type of chemo, and that's actually come from a plant. But because I remember my mum saying she was walking around one of the botanical gardens or something, and she saw the plant, and she was like, oh, Kim was treated by that kind of plant. I was like, I did not realise that. Yeah. But a few of these, I don't know which ones, but a few of them they don't actually use anymore because they're too harsh to use, so they can give too many worse or bad long-term side effects, like probably why I might have a couple of mine, because they would use different treatment now compared to what I was given. For my first treatment, I was given radiotherapy in 10.9 GY in 7 fractions, and that was phase 1 with the whole abdomen. Fractions is, if it says fractions, that's sessions of radiotherapy.
So 7 sessions of radiotherapy?
Yeah, because when I had my tongue cancer, I had 33 fractions. Yeah, so the GY is the dose, and the fractions is the amount of sessions you've had. Right. Because dose of radio is split into fractions over different sessions. Yeah. So obviously when I was little, they gave a much lighter dose, because if they'd given me a stronger dose as a baby, they'd have been killing way too many more healthy cells, and they didn't need as many sessions because I was also having chemo with that. And like, they didn't need to give as much, because obviously my body wouldn't have recovered. Yeah, of course. Because I was so young. Whereas this time, radio was what most effective, because they did remove all the cancer in the surgery. Yeah. Because that's the difference. I think chemo helped shrink it and prolong it and like stop things from growing and
put an end to it.
Yeah, it kind of slows the growing down. Whereas radio is a direct not sunlight, but it's a light that's projected straight to that area, which is to help kill it. Right. And help shrink it as well.
So the chemo is what slows it down, and the radio is what goes boom.
Yeah, because there's different purposes for it. Because your operation is the main one, they'll try and get out as much as they can. Yeah. Like for my first tongue cancer, they took it all out, but because it was so far down the line, they needed to do radio on top of that to make sure that any cells left in there and everything was killed off completely. Yeah. But yeah, so like the first one, the rhabdomyosarcoma, was on the bladder, I had a 10.9 GY in 7 fractions, and then that was phase 1. And then in phase 2, I had 14 GY in 9 fractions to the whole abdominal, but it shielded the liver and the kidney, so that was to try and protect the liver and the kidney from getting damaged, but the kidney did get damaged, so that's why I've got kidney failure. And then phase 3 was 20 GY in 12 fractions, so over the three phases, they've gradually increased the dose and the amount of sessions I had. But yeah, that was diagnosed in December 98, and end of treatment was May 2000. So that was
2 years later.
Yeah, about 2.5 years. That treatment was what has caused heart failure, kidney failure, and ovarian failure. That's why I go to 12 different clinics a year. Yeah, I've no memories of it. All I know is that the damage is given to me.
Now.
Yeah, and like obviously growing up, I'd just go to clinics.
Yeah.
Like it was just regular clinics, so I didn't know any different apart from that I was a bit ill and that I needed checkups and stuff. Well, that's all I kind of knew.
That's all you knew, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good, to be fair.
And it just gradually progressed, as in like I went to the general clinic, like for the cancer oncology as a paediatric, as a child, and then the kidney clinic. I think that's all I went to, but they were quite frequent. It's more as I've got older in my early teenage years.
You've got different places to go.
Yeah, because obviously when you have puberty as well, and that's why, because of the ovarian failure.
Yeah.
They obviously couldn't go through puberty properly, so they had to like branch me off into another clinic to give me a different estrogen. It's like a synthetic way of helping your body produce what it needs to, and the hormones, because my body can't do that. I can't have kids, because if I did have kids, I'd probably have a miscarriage. So it's like, that's why you have a cancer that produces a long-term effect, and then from that you have to monitor it.
Yeah.
That causes other things, so it's like
never-ending cycle.
Yeah, domino effect of everything. I've had 3 cancers, but the second one was the first tongue cancer. This is where it's confusing to explain. It's like, oh no, this is my first tongue cancer, but it's the second one.
Yeah.
It is now, anyway. The second diagnosis was squamous cell carcinoma on the left lateral tongue, which they've got some funny word in there as well, which I don't understand. But yeah, squamous cell carcinoma is like a tongue skin cancer, but mine was on the tongue.
Right.
But I found it, I don't know what stage it was at, if it was 3 or 4, but it was a lump at the back of the tongue that I spotted originally, but it had spread to the neck.
Right, okay.
Into the lymph nodes.
Yeah.
So because of that, they needed to do the treatment on top of the surgery.
Yeah.
So that's why they did the radiation. And that one was a much stronger dose, which was 66 GY in 33 fractions to the left tongue and the neck.
Jeez.
Which was the 6th of April 2016 until the 20th of May 2016. The radiation from my tongue was also stronger because I was obviously older, my body was stronger.
Needed a stronger dose.
Yeah, and plus it was a balance of my body was a bit better to be able to cope with a stronger dose and let my healthy cells recover, because they have to balance it out where the radiation that they give, they've got to give enough to kill the bad cells, but they can't give too much that they kill the good cells, because killing tissue that they don't need to.
Yeah.
So that's why when you're laid on the table, when you're looking at the radiation machine that goes round, there's a little box, and that's where the light shines through, which is the radiation.
Right.
And there's like cogs that open. I mean, I'll try put video thing in so it makes sense what I'm explaining.
Yeah.
Basically, the cogs and the radiation are targeted to your body by the millimetre. So the technology is advanced that much that they can work by the millimetre now.
Right. And what did they used to work by?
I don't know, but basically that's why my kidneys are damaged now, because when I was little, it wasn't as advanced,
Right.
so they couldn't cover up my kidneys as much. That's why
Yeah.
they got damaged. And
Oh.
about 15 years later,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know specifically, but the collimator is what these sliding things called, will operate individually by the millimetre. They let the radiation light shine in, and that'll be how it's controlled, of where
Yeah.
the treatment's directed at. So the doctors and the radiologists all plan this. They set up the machine to work this way.
Right.
I don't know how they do it or what they do.
It's amazing, isn't it?
But yeah, they program the machine, and the machine does what it's set up to do, and how the light. So when I was laid, I could see in the reflection that the light on my face would go up here, and then it would drop down underneath my eye. So like part of the collimator will have closed a bit so that it dropped down, and then it opened back up again. So they went a bridge on my nose, and then it closed a bit more, so they went back under my eye. So
That's amazing.
they obviously were trying to, they don't want to go near anywhere. They don't need to, because they don't want to cause any more damage or late effects
And they can do that now.
for something else,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I noticed when it went round the side, it opened up much wider. So obviously they're getting the main area of where it spread to.
Yeah.
And like the dosage as well, they've got to, that's why they did when I was little, they did smaller doses so that my body was able to repair itself in between. Whereas this time, they gave the maximum dose that they could. So this is why for my second tongue cancer, they can't really give me any more radio. Basically said it wouldn't be beneficial because it needs to be stronger,
Right.
but they can't give that strength because they already maxed it out before. So because it'd be a weaker dose, it wouldn't be beneficial. But I
Right.
don't need it because they managed to remove everything for the second tongue
So luckily you
cancer.
don't need anything anyway.
No. When I was on the table, I had to have the mask fitted because you have to be in the exact same position each time, because obviously it's working by the millimetre.
Yeah.
So I remember laying there and I tried to relax my tongue into the same position every time, and the head mask would be pinned down to the table. So in the last couple of weeks when I lost weight, they put some padding in my mask so that it still had my body in the same position, because
Right.
if I'd lost weight and the mask wasn't firm against my body and there was a gap,
Yeah.
it meant I could move. And even those millimetres, it meant they were damaging healthy tissue. And asked, do you have any tattoos? And I said, yeah, because I have radiation tattoos. Because they also dot you. They get a tiny little, literally permanent marker, tattoo pen mark. I didn't have to have it this time because I've still got the ones on my stomach
From last time.
from 15 years before.
Yeah.
So because it's all in front, they had the dots on a mask and they wanted to put a dot here. I said, oh, I've got one here.
Yeah.
So they, when the laser that ran over me,
Mhm.
like that they did to line up, they moved 1 centimetre to the left
Yeah.
off that mark. I just think it's crazy how they do it.
Also the improvement as well from when you first had it to now, like of what they can do now, like especially the millimetre thing,
Yeah,
and cover certain parts of that they don't need
yeah, that's
to,
it.
to bother. Like it's good that they can do that now.
I think it's preventing late effects
Yeah.
and like long-term damage.
And protecting the body parts that don't need to be.
That treatment, yeah, finished the 20th of May 2016, so that's my remission date, but also the first cancer treatment ended in May 2000, and my second cancer
Your
treatment,
first ever treatment when you was like a baby.
yeah, and then
May.
my second cancer treatment ended as a remission. That's when my remission started on the 20th of May, but then my operation for my third cancer was the 5th of May, so that's when my remission started again.
The May thing, like every single time with May.
Mm.
We said, didn't we? Like that's weird.
But it's interesting, some people say that your body and your cells regenerate, but that's just interesting how the first cancer was found in the December. I found my second one in the December, and I mean my third one's just probably been underlying and ongoing and changing gradually.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting how the surgery fell in May.
You've had it 3 times and every time remission has been in May. Like,
The third cancer was the same type of cancer as the last one.
2016 one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
squamous cell carcinoma.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the same one. It wasn't a relapse.
Right.
If you get me.
Yeah.
That one hasn't come back. It's a completely new, as they call it, primary lesion.
Mhm.
So a lesion to growth.
Yeah.
And because it's a primary, it's a completely different area. So it's a completely new cancer, but it's the same type.
Yeah.
My tongue's been so sore for ages now, whereas I just monitored it, and the cells have just changed over time.
Yeah.
So then now, it's obviously just got to the point where it's changed into the first stage cancer. Because last time, my first tongue cancer was probably stage 3 or 4. Whereas this one's been caught at the first stage.
Yeah.
And they've just managed to remove it in one. That's why I've not needed any more follow-up treatment. With them saying that it was cancer, even though we knew it hadn't spread to my neck, they wanted to do it anyway because of my history. So that's why they did the neck dissection, for all the chances that it could have been a microscopic spread.
Yeah.
So that's why they did that anyway. But it's a good thing they did, because they found that unexpected surprise of the thyroid.
Yeah, of course.
The thyroid growth, which was found within the lymph node. So they removed all the lymph nodes in my neck and dissected them.
Yeah.
But as they dissected them, the pathology result is basically like the dissected results.
Yeah.
That's what pathology is. That's come back as the thyroid mutation in one of the lymph nodes. I mean, how many is there? 1, 2, 3, 10. I go to 10 clinics plus the GP, because that is kind of necessary. So that's 11. Plus I've had all these other scans on top.
Yeah.
So I go to about 11 different clinics. Anything else which isn't linked to that, which is obviously scans and things. The first effects clinic, which is an annual review to monitor the baby cancer.
Yeah.
Cardiac clinic, because the first chemo has damaged my heart. Endocrine clinic, because of the same reason, has damaged my ovaries and hormones and puberty side.
Yeah.
Breast clinic, because when I had my second cancer, they did a genetic testing,
Yeah.
and they found my BRCA2 gene, which is in control of the breast and the ovarian cells,
Yeah.
had a slight alteration to it, so it means I'm prone to breast and ovarian as well. So I see the breast clinic once a year as well to keep on top of that.
Yeah.
The gastro clinic, because one of the tablets I take for my hormones made me burp a lot, so I got referred to a gastro clinic as well.
Yeah.
Gout clinic, because when my heart got diagnosed, I was put on tablets for that, which was a water tablet. I can't remember what it was called. I think it was called furosemide. Gout is where you get a crystallization at your joints and it causes inflammation, and it's really painful. You literally can't put your weight on it, or if it's in your hands you can't really touch anything because it's so painful. Mine's in my feet, but because of my bad kidneys, the crystallization can't be filtered out through my body, through the pee, because obviously that's what your kidneys store.
Yeah, of course.
So my crystals build up at my joints and cause a gout. But the water tablet, I think, added to the crystals.
Yeah.
So because my body couldn't flush that, it ended up creating all these crystals. That's why I got gout. But once you have a gout flare, it stays in your body. So I developed it. And gout is because of my kidneys not filtering it out properly.
Yeah.
But my gout was caused by my heart tablet.
Right, yeah.
So that's why when I go to one clinic, they always check and see like what I'm on and how it interacts with other organs in clinics, because it all just overrides and it has to be a fine balance of things, because they would put me on a different heart tablet but they said they can't do that because my kidneys aren't in a great state.
Yeah.
But it just changes the function of the kidneys.
Mhm.
Kidney clinic, head and neck clinic, go to physio because of head and neck. There's all the scans I've had. And yeah, just psychology, because obviously the treatment just triggers loads of flashbacks and stuff, so I got referred back to that. The heart problem and the gout problem got introduced in my later teenage years because they had to put me on hormone tablets when I started like early teenage years. From the first chemo, from when I was little, that late effects, I didn't have a heart problem like through up to year 9, I think.
Okay.
And then in the back end of year 10, when my exams were due, was when I was just so tired, out of breath, and I was just like really struggling, and that's when they took me in and they said, and they did loads of scans and different tests and things, and that's when they realised one of the muscles was a bit weaker and it deteriorated, and obviously because of the chemo they put it down to that. But I just remember that happening at the end of year 10 because they said, you can take your exams next year in year 11, but I said, no, I want to do them this year. So I literally came out of hospital from being in there 2 weeks, then did my exams in a side room, but then again, because of my heart producing the gout problem, the year after in year 11, that's when my gout flare restarted.
Right.
So I had to go through the front gates into a room behind reception to take my GCSE exams.
Yeah.
Because the gout had flared up. I just remember the different milestones in education where all this came into it.
Yeah, of course.
So like, I was probably 15 with the heart problem, 16 when the gout came. So that's the thing, when I was little, I had the cancer, then the follow-up, and then the kidneys happened straight after that. The kidney damage happened when I was about 4. But yeah, then there was a massive gap and just constantly monitored. And then obviously that happened. Then the gout, and when it was back end of 2015, obviously the September was when I started my second year of college. So when you go into new year, I ended that college year, my second year of college, in the February, because that's when I was going for my operation in the March. So that's the thing, the second cancer happened and cut my college year short as well. So it always happens at these key points when I've needed exams or different parts in education.
And I've ever had to take your predicted grade?
Kind of, So I actually did take my exams. I got my results for my GCSEs. But then for my BTEC at college, because my work was at a good standard, they took that and applied it to different modules that was covered from that course within the exam board. So from that they were able to get me an overall grade still, because they used my work that I had produced. But otherwise I'd have actually waited until I'd recovered and probably finished the year off. But it's just always been a mess and just fallen at the worst times. And then this third one as well, in the middle of the pandemic.
Take your timing, so it ruins high school, stops your second year of college, and then chuffing Miss Rona is hitting.
Goes to lockdown because you're a vulnerable person before everyone else, and then it's like, you think you're fine, just start getting on with it, and then it's like, actually no, my tongue's really sore, it's hurting like hell, this is a new abnormal growth, and it's like, oh dear.
You can't even write the timing.
You can't write anything down.
No.
Well, I think I've tried to cover that as much as possible. I'm just trying to give an insight of like how things has happened, what different key elements are, and explaining them. So I hope it's kind of informal for people to understand what things are, more like down to the treatments and how it all works. My voice is really going. My voice is a lot better than what it was, but because I've been talking for ages, it's gone. Kind of easier for me to have a discussion rather than talk directly to the camera. So, enjoy.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah.
I pressed stop last time and it went
Bang.
bang.